Hello, welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports and another edition of What is in Our Stand today. Today we're going to talk about the Guide RS from SRAM, the brake system, and we have a piston issue with them, so we're going to replace them. But before we go any further, if you would please subscribe to the channel, like it so that YouTube can find us, and maybe rank it a little bit higher as far as how relevant it thinks it is. And also hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I post a new video. Okay, so what we're going to talk about is the SRAM Guide RS brake levers. And if you look here, there are a series of them that when you confirm a serial number that is down here, when you confirm that serial number, they do need to get replaced. Sometimes it's a warranty, but actually that warranty is long past. It was brakes from like the 2016, 2017. And SRAM did the warranty for about 2 years, but now we're way past that because it's 2021. Okay, so let's take a look at the tools that we're going to use. So here is the new lever that we're going to replace. And this is part of the Stealthimajig system. So this is a very easy system. Once you cut the line, then you install the barb and the fitting here to crush it, which is an olive. Okay, so we're going to need some dot grease just to make everything go together nice and easy. We're also going to use the 8mm to install the barb. Once we've installed the barb to crush the olive, we're going to use an 8 Newton meter torque value to cinch that down. It's also an 8mm wrench that you need. So you can use this one here, but if you have the crow's foot, it's ideal that you use this. Once we put all of that together, we're going to have to bleed the system. And it's very important that you're actually using the dot fluid as opposed to using mineral oil or anything else. Try to get genuine SRAM dot fluid for your brake system if you're working on SRAM. We're going to need, obviously, the syringes. And this is one of the special type of syringes where this goes into the caliper body. And it's a nice little setup the way this works. And this will be the brake block that you'll need. Now, we're going to do a portion. I've loosened it up, and we're going to do a portion of it now where we install this brake lever. All right, so let's move over to the bike. And the first thing we need to do is remove the old one. So to remove the old one, you'll need this wrench here in the 8mm size, and you'll loosen that. And I have a drip pan underneath here because fluid is going to drip out, and you want to make sure that you have a way to catch that fluid. So there's the nut. Now you pull on it, and I was prepared for it, but there was no fluid to come out. Now we're going to cut this portion of the hydraulic hose so that we can install the new one, or the new fitting. Let me make sure I go about that much. And there's a nice clean cut. So it's very important that you have a nice sharp tool to do this with, because you have a nice clean cut and the hose has not been crushed in any way. Now what you'll do is you'll take your barb and put that on with your 8mm Torx, or T8, not 8mm, but T8. You screw that guy on there. Now, once this is in, what you want to make sure is that this sits flush. There is no space between your barb and the hose. But you also can't screw this on too tight because then it bulges out. So it's really important that you keep really good eye on how far you're screwing that in. And once it sits flush, right about there, you should be fine. Now, this olive goes on by hand with the single step. So there's 2 steps on this side, and you'll see a single step this side. That part goes to the hose, and this goes on reverse threaded. So you turn that in a reverse threaded direction. Okay, so that's all set. Now what we're going to do is install the lever. And a nice little trick to do is when you are taking this apart, that you make a nice little tick mark on the lever, on the clamp body, so that you know where it was for the customer. In this case, he's coming in for a bike fitting, so we're going to be moving a bunch of stuff anyway. So now we have a hydraulic line that we're going to put into the lever body. Make sure that's fully seated. And then when that's fully seated, take your nut and screw that on. Now make sure it's fully seated before you torque it down. Now you'd be surprised how much 8 Newton meters is to tighten this down. And because this guy is not a standard open wrench, it is a little bit difficult to work with, but it is important to torque it down properly. And then you have to stop, take it apart again. So you can see that that is a tedious little process, but unfortunately that's what you have to do to make sure you have crushed that olive and we should be getting close now. There it is. And what you'll see is the wrench will just snap, and that's your 8 Newton meters. Okay, so we've got the new lever on. We've crushed the olive. We are now ready for the next step, which is brake bleeding, and we will do that at another time on another video. So I appreciate the fact that you've tuned in today. And if you would please like the video, subscribe to it. And as you can see, you drop tools, you get caught up in the hydraulic line. These are all part of getting your mechanical skills going. But thank you for tuning in, and please subscribe to the channel. We'll see you up the road.